Hello, I'm Willie from the Ozarks. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of finding our peace and holding it, establishing it, seeing it in our neighbors and ourselves. Our lesson today is a review of Lesson 200. It's Lesson 220 in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students from the original edition. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. There is no peace except the peace of God. There is no peace except the peace of God. Let me not wander from the ways of peace, for I am lost on other ways on other roads than this. Let me not wander from the way of peace, for I am lost on other roads than this. But let me follow him who leads me home, and peace is certain as the love of God. There is no peace except the peace of God. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. You know, this is the last of our lessons for the section 1 of the course, where the undoing process is how I like to think of it. The second part will be the stabilization of this new found method for living in this world, which is not really in this world. We're seeing ourselves as in Christ, seated in that heavenly place where love is what is real, joy is what is real, peace is what is real, and those things that we thought were real, that spoke of pain, death, sickness, sorrow, anxiety, all the negative qualities of life, we're finding out those things aren't even real. But our mind, being so powerful, created in the image of God, we end up thinking they're real, and we get ourselves wandering on roads that are not the road of peace and love. Well, we found a way to correct that, to stop and ask for help. Always let peace be our guide. So he ends this first section by the reminder again, there is no peace except the peace of God. You know, I want you to really recognize the importance of staying in tune with your peace of mind, your peace of heart, your peacefulness of beingness, regardless of what's going on around you. And learn to see your brothers and sisters as yourself, seeing them in a peaceful light, even if they don't see themselves that way, because you'll be tuning into their reality. Remember, your brothers and sisters are no more a body than you are. They use a body in this world, and what are we're learning that the purpose of the body is to practice forgiveness. The all-inclusive goal of forgiveness must be reached. Okay, that's God's plan. I want to go back and take a look at the introduction today, and just want to read it again. This is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. And we're learning that the only reality is love. And love can't be threatened. We can only imagine that it can be threatened and make a world that imagining seems to play itself out. But we can choose a new thought. A thought where we live in a world of peace, and that we are always bathed in peace, as one with love. Okay, well, that introduction should mean a lot more to you now that we've been studying these first 200 lessons, 220. And tomorrow we'll start with part 2, in the introduction to part 2. And of course, lesson 221. But and as of yesterday, you really got a sense of I am not a body, I am free. Did that get a little stronger, a little clearer? I hope so. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And you'll get, you set your mind to understand these things, and the Holy Spirit will bring the experiences to you to make these things come into focus. All right, let's go take a look in our text reading now. And we're ready for salvation from fear. We're in that section of chapter 24. Specialness and separation. Salvation from fear is section 8. And we read, the last paragraph we read yesterday was 52. So let's just start there in 52 again. We'll read it again. While you're turning there, let me tell you about another bean. This is a French type bean, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but we'll try Cantare. Cantare, Cantare. It's a bush bean, 50 to 55 day, superior producer of nice, straight, dark green pods for snaps. The slim 4 to 5 inch pods are stringless, and the flavor is every bit as outstanding as the yield. This French variety makes a fine crop for market growers or home gardeners. Excellent tolerance to bean mosaic virus. So that is your Cantare green bean. It's a straight green bean. Okay. That was out of the Baker Creek Heirloom seed catalog. All right, let's take a look now and keep it in mind today, over and over. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. There is no peace except the peace of God. The peace that passes understanding is the peace of God. It passes the understanding of this world's mind, doesn't it? There is no peace except the peace of God. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Be the last day we'll practice saying that to ourselves, but hopefully it'll stay in your mind and you'll still say it often to yourself, because it'll be a new way of thinking, that you'll have stabilized that and you'll realize that I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm still as God created me. It'll just be part of your day-to-day life. Okay, paragraph 30 or 52. Forget not that the healing of God's Son is all the world is for. Okay, remember we just talked about that. Forget not that the healing of God's Son is all the world is for. Of course, I said forgiveness is what the body's for. But that is healing. To learn to practice forgiveness is what healing is all about. Is to let go of illusions, things that are not real, things that are not speaking of love and peace and joy and truth. Let those go and recognize that what is real is healing, is wholeness, is godness, is love between brother and sister and among all of us, that we have love for one another and that we actually feel it with that peace and joy that's our inheritance. Forget not that the healing of God's Son is all the world is for. That is the only purpose the Holy Spirit sees in it, and thus it is the only one it has. Until you see the healing of the Son as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time and all appearances, you will not know the Father nor yourself. Talk about wanting to find self-realization, know yourself and God. Well, until you see the healing of the Son as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time and all appearances, you will not know the Father nor yourself. For you will use the world for what it is not its purpose, and will not escape its laws of violence and death. You will use the world for what is not its purpose, and will not escape its laws of violence and death. You want to be under the laws of violence and death? Well, then forget don't recognize that healing is the purpose. Let's read those two sentences again. Until you see the healing of the Son as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time and all appearances, you will not know the Father nor yourself. For you will use the world for what is not its purpose and will not escape its laws of violence and death. Yet it is given you to be beyond its laws in all respects, in every way, and every circumstance, in all temptation to perceive what is not there, and all belief. God's Son can suffer pain because he sees himself as he is not. Wow, we want to see ourselves as we are so we don't have to suffer pain. Paragraph 53. Look on your brother and behold in him the whole reversal of the laws that seem to rule the world. Look on your brother and behold in him the whole reversal of the laws that seem to rule the world. See in his freedom yours, for such it is. See in his freedom yours, for such it is. Let not his specialness obscure the truth in him. For not one law of death you bind him to will you escape, and not one sin you see in him, but keeps you both in hell. Wow, how important it is to see our brother as holy, as sinless, as innocent, as just like ourselves in innocence and holiness and peace, regardless of what they've done in the past, regardless of how they think of themselves now. You can see it for them. See them as one with God, one with you. Let not his specialness obscure the truth in him, for no one law of death you bind him to will you escape, and not one sin you see in him, but keeps you both in hell. Yet will his perfect sinlessness release you both. For holiness is quite impartial, with one judgment made for all it looks upon, and that is made not of itself, but through the voice that speaks for God in everything that lives and shares his being. Paragraph 54. It is his sinlessness that eyes which see can look upon. It is his sinlessness that eyes which see can look upon. It is his loveliness they see in everything. It is his loveliness, his beauty, that the eyes that can see him in everything. It is his sinlessness that eyes which see can look upon. It is his loveliness they see in everything. And it is he they look for everywhere, and find no sight, nor place, nor time where he is not. Wow. It reminds me of what my wife, after she died, I had a dream, and I expect she's the one that set the whole dream up, where she came and she told me, she said, there's only one thing separating you from me, and that's that I see everything as beautiful now, and you still think there's some things that aren't beautiful. She said, that'll be your job now, is to feel the beauty in every person, place, thing, and situation, and then you'll be where I'm at. She says, I don't even want to come where you're at, but I want you to come where I'm at, and it's not death that separates us. It's only you're not seeing beauty in everyone, in everything, and feeling it, not just see it intellectually, but feel the beauty. It is his sinlessness that eyes which see can look upon. It is his loveliness they see in everything, and it is he they look for everywhere, and find no sight, nor place, nor time where he is not. Within your brother's holiness, the perfect frame for your salvation and the world's, is set the shining memory of him, in whom your brother lives, and you along with him. Let not your eyes be blinded by the veil of specialness that hides the face of Christ from him, and you as well. And let the fear of God no longer hold the vision you were meant to see from you. Your brother's body shows not Christ to you. He is set forth within his holiness. Your brother's body doesn't show the Christ, how does he say it? Your brother's body shows not Christ to you. He is set forth within his holiness. 55. Choose then his body or his holiness as what you want to see, and which you choose is yours to look upon. Yet will you choose in countless situations and through time which seems to have no end, until the truth be your decision. For eternity is not regained by still one more denial of Christ in him. And where is your salvation, if he is but a body? Where is your peace, but in his holiness? Where is your peace, but in his holiness? Wow, we've got to see our brothers as holy in order for us to be at peace. There is no peace except the peace of God. Well, what is that peace? It's seeing everyone as holy, as innocent, as pure, as beautiful, as God's dearly beloved creation, Son. Where is your peace but in his holiness? And where is God himself but in that part of him he set forever in your brother's holiness, that you might see the truth about yourself set forth at last in terms you recognized and understood. 56. Your brother's holiness is sacrament and benediction unto you. His errors cannot withhold God's blessing from himself. His errors cannot withhold God's blessings from himself, nor you who see him truly. His errors can't keep you from wanting to bless him. Certainly doesn't keep God from blessing him, and we don't want it to keep us from blessing him. His mistakes can cause delay, which it is given you to take from him, that both may end a journey that has never been begun and needs no end. We just want to get our mind straightened out to what's real. What never was is not a part of you, yet you will think it is until you realize that it is not a part of him who stands beside you. He is the mirror of yourself, wherein you see the judgment you have laid on both of you. Your brother is the mirror of yourself, wherein you see the judgment you have laid on both of you. The Christ in you beholds his holiness. The Christ in you beholds your brother and sister's holiness. Your specialness looks on his body and beholds him not. Your specialness looks upon his body, and you don't even see his reality. And the last paragraph we'll read today, 57. See him as what he is, that your deliverance may not be long. A senseless wandering, without a purpose and without accomplishment of any kind, is all the other choice can offer you. Futility of function not fulfilled will haunt you while your brother lies asleep, till what has been assigned to you is done, and he is risen from the past. Doesn't matter what he chooses. Have you chosen to see him as holy, as beautiful, as one with you, as being worthy of being blessed, as having gratitude towards? He who condemned himself, and you as well, is given you to save from condemnation along with you. And both shall see God's glory in his Son, whom you mistook as flesh and bound to laws that have no power over him at all. We just want to get our mind straightened out and see his holiness. And instead of, how does he say it in that last sentence? Both shall see God's glory in his Son, whom you mistook as flesh and bound to laws that have no power over him at all. Just in an imagination that we can learn to practice forgiveness towards and let illusions go and see the holy peace of God and all the beauty that's there contained. All right, well, that brings us back to our lesson. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. There is no peace except the peace of God. Let me not wander from the way of peace, for I am lost on other roads than this. But let me follow him who leads me home, and peace is certain as the love of God. There is no peace except the peace of God. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And you know, yesterday or a day or so, a few days ago, I told you that the bare minimum is listen to these videos. Well, I didn't really mean to say it that way. I mean, that is a simple way. But you know, I'd really encourage you. The bare minimum is read your book and do what it says, which is what we're doing here. I'm trying to isolate it down to just the bare minimum. I did say read it, you know, put it on a card and keep it with you and do it throughout the day. You don't even have to do that. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even tell us anywhere in the book to do that. I just find it helpful to me. And it seems like rather than get my book out all day, if I have it in my card, I actually do it. And, you know, there are a lot of places I'm at where I don't have my book with me, so I can pull it out of my pocket, either my front pocket, my back pocket, or somewhere close by, and I can read it to myself. That's all I was trying to encourage you to do. So whatever way works for you, I'm encouraging you to go back and read the lessons that we're not reading again, like Lesson 220 if you want to, or Lesson 200, which is the review. There is no peace except the peace of God. And, you know, whatever it takes to be sure to get these ideas in your mind. But thank you so much for joining me on this journey of finding our peace and holding it and seeing it in everyone. How can we have peace unless we see our brothers as innocent, he's telling us, as holy? So one last time we'll read the lesson and be sure to do your 2 15-minute. I didn't even say that. That's a bare minimum. Do what he says. You know, listen to the lesson, which I'm reading it all to you, so you wouldn't have to actually break the book open, but you do have to do the ideas, so you'd have to write it down or think about it and have such a good memory that you can remember to do the lesson every day. That's what I was trying to encourage you to do. And I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. There is no peace except the peace of God. Let me not wander from the way of peace, for I am lost on other roads than this. But let me follow him who leads me home, and peace is certain as the love of God. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. There is no peace except the peace of God.